House premises, the ongoing budget session of the Parliament, as we've been saying since this morning, likely to witness another chaotic day today at the beginning of the week this Monday, as opposition parties in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha are staging a protest outside the Parliament demanding a debate over the Adani issue.
नहीं, हम तो निर्णय लिए हैं कि इस मुद्दे को सदन में चर्चा में लाना और जो कुछ कमियां है वो सरकार को हम बताएंगे। और सरकार अब तक चुप क्यों बैठी? इतना बड़ा घोटाला होने के बाद भी गवर्नमेंट चुप्पी साधी है। खासकर मोदी जी कुछ भी बोल रहे नहीं, वो अपने दूसरे मंत्रियों से कुछ कहला रहे हैं, लेकिन जो इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट बहुत ही करीबी है प्रधानमंत्री जी के, वो उन्होंने कुछ बोलना चाहिए, नहीं तो देश की माली जो हालत है, आर्थिक स्थिति है, बहुत खराब हो जाएगी।
And we're getting in more voices on this issue. A stormy session expected. Aishwarya Kapoor, our senior executive editor, politics, joining us right now. Aishwarya, over to you.
But as you just heard, the Congress National President Ramcharitmanas coming out and once again raising the whole Adani issue. While the opposition protests at Gandhi statue inside the Parliament, there is also a protest scheduled outside the Parliament. So it's protests outside and inside the Parliament, and the issue is Adani. Though we have seen several measures being taken by the government, but now the opposition parties need a structured discussion on the issue of Adani, and then they say the kind of favors which were given to one particular individual and his enterprises flouting all rules and norms. So they would want to have a structured discussion, a debate on both the houses, in both the houses of the Parliament on this very issue. Because they claim that there is something wrong, there is scam, there is this, there are allegations of several routes being flouted, while the government says that nothing of that sort. And as far as the investigation in the plummeting of Adani stocks are concerned, all of that is being done.
Right, Aishwarya, if you would continue and, considering it a strategy, we have even KCR, Chief Minister of Telangana.
From Gandhi statue of the Parliament. And as we said, there are protests inside the Parliament and outside. Both MPs' slogans in itself are coming in from the opposition. So the issue of Adani seems to be acting as an adhesive between the opposition parties, because we've seen that how they have been fractured and they have been completely divided among themselves. But as far as the taking on the government from the shoulders of Adani is concerned, it seems to be acting as an adhesive for them, and all of them are basically coming together and then trying to corner the government on this issue. Government said that they are okay, they are ready, in agreement to have a discussion on every issue, including this. But first, the business of the House, which has been discussed even with the opposition parties prior to the commencement of the session, should be discussed. And it's only post that, and I repeat, it's only post that, according to our sources, the government has already conveyed back to the opposition leaders and to their parties that the government is ready to have the discussion on Adani as well, but later. But the opposition parties want every other business of the House to be stalled, and the discussion should begin in both the houses on Adani and a scam which they allege.
And viewers, for more on what's happening as far as the protest by opposition parties is concerned in Parliament, let's go across. Joining me is my colleague Anuj, right there from Parliament House premises. Anuj, take us through the parties being represented there, the leaders, the kind of slogans they're shouting. We are hearing them, but we'd like you to give us, a sense of the ground reality as it is there.
Well, these are the live images coming in from the parliament itself. This is from the Gandhi statue of the parliament, and these are the opposition leaders who are protesting at this point in time. Earlier, this was a scheduled meeting of the opposition leader to chalk out the strategy that what exactly is going to the future course of action. If we talk about the opposition leaders, the demand remains the same. They are demanding the discussion on the Adani issue. That is something, the line which has been taken by the opposition leaders. And as we have seen it earlier also, when we are talking about the budget session, it was the day one when the budget was produced by the finance minister, and from the next day we are continuously seeing the uproar in both the houses, where the houses are not able to work, the proceeding is not taking the place. Why? Because the opposition parties is continuously demanding the discussion on the Adani issue, whereas the government is of the view, government stand is that they want the presidential speech to be happen, and after that the discussion can happen in the 0 hours. Whereas when we were talking to Tiruchi Shiva of DMK and other several opposition leaders, they are saying that we do not want to wait for the 0 hour, but we just want the discussion to happen. The first priority is the discussion about the Adani issue. They want JPC. The demand is JPC. That's yes.
चर्चा होनी चाहिए और उसमें डिटेल चर्चा करने के लिए हम तैयार हैं, क्योंकि ये इशू एक हमारे राष्ट्रपति जी के अभिभाषण से संबंधित नहीं है, ये अलग विषय है। इसीलिए हम चाहते हैं कि ये विषय को पहले ले लीजिए और प्रेसिडेंट का जो भाषण है उसके ऊपर हम सभी लोग बोलने को तैयार है, और उनकी जो गरिमा है या जो हमारे पास हमेशा प्रेसिडेंट के स्पीच के लिए जो महत्व देते हैं वो तो हम देते रहेंगे और देंगे। लेकिन पहला हमारा मुद्दा ये है जो आज गड़बड़ी पूरे देश में हो रही है, नेशनली और इंटरनेशनली जो ये सब्जेक्ट आज उठा है, इसके ऊपर मोदी जी जवाब दें।
तो सरकार क्यों नहीं चाहती इस पर चर्चा कराना?
नहीं, मुझे मालूम नहीं क्यों डर रही है, क्योंकि वो चाहती है कि ये भी मुद्दा नहीं उठना चाहिए, चर्चा नहीं होना चाहिए, इसको किसी ढंग से अवॉइड करना चाहते हैं और वो रिकॉर्ड में नहीं लाना चाहते हैं।
सर,
कब तक ये जारी रहेगा प्रोटेस्ट आप लोगों का इस तरह से?
नहीं, अब तो एवरीडे वी आर टेकिंग स्टॉक, क्योंकि हर पार्टी के लोगों को हम रोज इकट्ठा करके एक होके यूनाइटेडली फाइट कर रहे हैं।
Sir, today several opposition parties held a protest at
जो प्रोटेस्ट चल रहा है,
this was the national president of the Congress party whom we were listening to, and the national president of the Congress party, Mallikarjun Kharge, stating it very much clearly that they are not going to go lightly, they are not going to take it easily, but they want the discussion. They stand with their demand, and the demand is that they want discussion to happen first. And Mallikarjun Kharge was stating it very much clearly that government don't want to do any kind of discussion, whereas this is an issue which need to be discussed, and this is an issue which is affecting nationally and internationally. The opposition parties are saying that we are united, we are meeting every day, and we will continue with our protest. First, we want the interaction, we want the discussion to happen, and then only the proceeding will start, then only there can be any proceeding in both the houses. And that is something what we are expecting today in the house also, because from 11 a.m. this is going to be the time when both the houses proceeding should start. And at this point in time we are breaking this from the ground, that what exactly is going to be the strategy of the opposition party, where uproar is again expected in both the houses. We are reporting live on the story. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a short break.
See, Mr. Jetmalani, you have said that the BBC is paid by China. Now, question is, you also said that there are several Chinese companies transacting with the BBC. Does this mean the BBC is bought over?
We are one of the biggest dangers to China. There was a time when the BBC had been reduced to beggary, and obviously they've gone with the begging bowl, found a very willing China who's willing to use their brand, and this brand is now peddling false narratives against enemy countries in those countries. China is now peddling falsehoods in our country.
And news in brief, General Pervez Musharraf, who seized power in a bloodless coup and later led a reluctant Pakistan into aiding the US war in Afghanistan, passed away at the age of 79 in Dubai hospital. Vadra Congress eulogized Kargil conspirator General Pervez Musharraf. Shashi Tharoor said, and I quote, "Once an impeccable foe of India, he became a real force for peace between 2002 to 2007. PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti also eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf. She said, and I quote, "Deepest condolences, perhaps the only Pak general who genuinely tried to address the Kashmir issue. He wanted a solution according to wishes of people of J&K and acceptable to India and Pakistan." After Vadra Congress and Mehbooba Mufti eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf, BJP came down heavily on Vadra Congress and Mufti for lionizing Musharraf.
जनरल मुशर्रफ है, मैं उनको पहले तो जो उनका आज देहांत हुआ है उनको श्रद्धांजलि देता हूं। अगर वो शांति लाना चाहते थे, कम से कम अपने देश में शांति लाते, वहां से तो उनको निकाल दिया गया। लेकिन आज भी जो हमारे यहां पर पाकिस्तान की सपोर्ट करने वाली लॉबी है वो जरूर एक्टिव हो जाती है। भारत के विरुद्ध किस प्रकार से बात करने का उनको मौका मिले, उनको एक समय चाहिए। और आज उनके देहांत पर ये इस प्रकार की बयानबाजी कर रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है।
Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen today, in fact on Sunday, said Bangladesh wants Pakistan to seek apology publicly with a formal announcement for the atrocities perpetrated against unharmed people in 1971. Big public impact. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has initiated process to ban and block 138 betting apps and 94 loan lending apps with Chinese links on an urgent and emergency basis. Raking up the issue of Vinod Adani, Gautam, Congress asked why no central agency has so far investigated.
I, Sanjay Karol,
having been appointed a judge of the Supreme Court of India,
having been appointed a judge of the Supreme Court of India,
do swear in the name of God,
do swear in the name of God,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established,
that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India,
that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India,
that I will duly and faithfully and to the best of my ability, knowledge and judgment,
that I will duly and faithfully and to the best of my ability, knowledge and judgment,
perform the duties of my office without fear or favor, affection or ill will,
perform the duties of my office without fear or favor, affection or ill will,
and that I will uphold the Constitution and the laws,
and that I will uphold the Constitution and the laws.
Warrant of appointment of Honorable Shri Justice Puligoru Venkata Sanjay Kumar reads as under. By virtue of the power vested in me by Clause 2 of Article 124 of the Constitution of India, I, Draupadi Murmu, President of India, do hereby appoint Shri Justice Puligoru Venkata Sanjay Kumar, Chief Justice of the Manipur High Court, to be a judge of the Supreme Court of India with effect from the date he assumes charge of his office, given at Rashtrapati Bhavan, New Delhi, this 4th day of February in the year 2023, 15th Magha, 1944 Shaka, in the 74th year of the Republic of India. Signed, President of India. May I now request Honorable Chief Justice Puliguru Venkata Sanjay Kumar to take oath.
I, Puliguru Venkata Sanjay Kumar,
Having been appointed a judge of the Supreme Court of India,
having been appointed a judge of the Supreme Court of India,
do swear in the name of God
do swear in the name of God
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established,
that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India,
that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India,
that I will duly and faithfully and to the best of my ability, knowledge and judgment
that I will duly and faithfully and to the best of my ability, knowledge and judgment
perform the duties of my office without fear or favor, affection or ill will,
perform the duties of my office without fear or favor, affection or ill will,
and that I will uphold the Constitution and the laws.
and that I will uphold the Constitution and the laws. Butterflies in the stomachs.
Oh, very.
While growing up, who did you look up to? Who was your idol?
Dilip Kumar.
And you were fortunate enough to work with him as well.
I was wanting to work with him. This was my dream to work with him. And I was very fortunate when I was offered Dastan, the first film with him. And I used to be sitting there and watching him. He was so good and a great actor, but he was a greater human being as well.
See, Mr. Jetmalani, you have said that the BBC is paid by China. Now, question is, you've also said that there are several Chinese companies transacting with the BBC. Does this mean the BBC is bought over?
We are one of the biggest dangers to China. There was a time when the BBC had been reduced to beggary, and obviously they've gone with the begging bowl, found a very willing China who's willing to use their brand, and this brand is now peddling false narratives against enemy countries in those countries. China is now peddling falsehoods in our country.
And news in brief, General Pervez Musharraf, who seized power in a bloodless coup and later led a reluctant Pakistan into aiding the US war in Afghanistan, passed away at the age of 79 in Dubai hospital. Vadra Congress eulogized Kargil conspirator General Pervez Musharraf. Shashi Tharoor said, and I quote, "Once an impeccable foe of India, he became a real force for peace between 2002 to 2007. PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti also eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf. She said, and I quote, "Deepest condolences, perhaps the only Pak general who genuinely tried to address the Kashmir issue. He wanted a solution according to wishes of people of J&K and acceptable to India and Pakistan." After Vadra Congress and Mehbooba Mufti eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf, BJP came down heavily on Vadra Congress and Mufti for lionizing Musharraf.
जनरल मुशर्रफ है, मैं उनको पहले तो जो उनका आज देहांत हुआ है उनको श्रद्धांजलि देता हूं। अगर वो शांति लाना चाहते थे, कम से कम अपने देश में शांति लाते, वहां से तो उनको निकाल दिया गया। लेकिन आज भी जो हमारे यहाँ पर पाकिस्तान की सपोर्ट करने वाली लॉबी है वो जरूर एक्टिव हो जाती है। भारत के विरुद्ध किस प्रकार से बात करने का उनको मौका मिले, उनको एक समय चाहिए, और आज उनके देहांत पर ये इस प्रकार की बयानबाजी।
You're watching live and breaking, and we're bringing you the latest on the terrible earthquake that jolted Turkey. The earthquake of magnitude 7.8 occurred 23 kilometers east of Nurdagi in Turkey. And these are visuals from the earthquake hit country. And news reports suggest that not just Turkey, but Syria too has been massively affected. Nearly more than 30 buildings have collapsed, and many lives have been lost. Officials say that the toll could rise even beyond 100. And these are visuals from the earthquake hit country. This is Nurdagi in Turkey. Both Syria and Turkey have been affected by the massive earthquake measuring 7.8 on the Richter scale, and certain reports suggest that the death toll could have risen to nearly 200 by now, but these are unconfirmed reports. Right now what we're hearing is that more than 200 people have lost their lives, and the impact is still continues. Nearly more than 30 buildings have collapsed. And joining me for more on this is my colleague Samiksha from the Mumbai newsroom. Samiksha, terrible earthquake, devastating losses, reports are still coming in. Over to you.
Well, that's right, Rukma. To just give a recap of what we know so far, now these are sketchy details that are just coming in. As per reports, we are given to understand that more than 150 people have lost their lives and over 400 people have been injured in these tremors that were felt not just in Turkey but in Syria as well, where there has been extensive damage that's been reported. Now, just to tell you more about this earthquake, the magnitude of which is said to be 7.8, quite an intense magnitude earthquake that hit the southeastern part of Turkey as well as neighboring countries in Syria, Lebanon and Cyprus as well. Now, the visuals that we are continuously putting out show the kind of damage that has been wrought as a result of this earthquake measuring of magnitude 7.8. Several buildings that have collapsed. In fact, we are also given to understand that several people are feared trapped in the debris as we speak. A statement that has also just come in from the Interior Minister of Turkey, who said, in fact, urging people not to enter these damaged buildings due to the risks that are involved. And just to quote the statement that has been put out by the Turkey minister, who says, our priority is to bring out people trapped under the ruined buildings and to transfer them to hospitals. Syria state media, meanwhile, reported that some buildings collapsed in the northern city of Aleppo and the central city as well. Talking about Damascus, where there has been extensive damage reported as well. Many people are feared trapped in the debris. The earthquake jolted residents in Lebanon as well. So yes, the damage has been extensive. Reports coming in of how people as many as 175 seem to have lost their lives. And also reading a statement that has been issued by the National Security Advisor U.S. Jake Sullivan on the earthquake in Turkey and Syria, where he says that the United States is profoundly concerned by the reports of today's destructive earthquake in Turkey and Syria. We stand ready to provide any and all needed assistance. President Biden has directed aid as well and other federal government partners to assess the U.S. response options to help those affected. We will continue to closely monitor the situation in coordination with the government of Turkey. So yes, situation definitely very, very grim, Rukma. And the death toll, we are given to understand, is further going to rise. As per initial reports, more than 175 people have lost their lives in Turkey and Syria, and more than 400 people are said to be seriously injured.
And meanwhile, rescue workers are hard at work. Samiksha, give us an update on that also. Samiksha, they're joining us with the latest, even as we're getting live rolling updates from the two most affected countries, Turkey and Syria. That was a detailed report from my colleague Samiksha on each and every city that has been worst affected as per latest reports. We'll be bringing you all the updates on this as an earthquake, the earthquake 7.8, measuring 7.8 on the Richter scale, strikes Turkey and Syria.
We are here at the India Energy Week 2023. This is a global platform which is showcasing around 8,000 delegates plus 500 speakers from across the nation as well as from across the world too. And you can clearly go on and see that shortly from now Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be arriving here to inaugurate the India Energy Week 2023. All this and much more on the other side of this short break on Republic. Stay tuned.
विक्टर फोर्स, डेल्टा फोर्स, यूनिफॉर्म फोर्स, इनके नाम के पीछे क्या है? You know, 6 months I went to Chief's office one day. The force headquarters have been sanctioned and we have to give the names. Think of the names today and tomorrow we want the names. I said, sir, जो वैली में है, call it Victor Force. कश्मीर में है, call it Kilo Force. He said, Alpha Bravo Charlie जानता है. मैं कहा, this is all that I can think of the time that you have given me.
While growing up, who did you look up to? Who was your idol?
Dilip Kumar.
And you were fortunate enough to work with him as well.
I was wanting to work with him. This was my dream to work with him. And I was very fortunate when I was offered Dastan, the first film with him. And I used to be sitting there and watching him. He was so good and a great actor, but he was a greater human being as well.
See, Mr. Jetpalani, you have said that the BBC is paid by China. Now, question is, you also said that there are several Chinese companies transacting with the BBC. Does this mean the BBC is bought over?
We are one of the biggest dangers to China. There was a time when the BBC had been reduced to beggary. And obviously they've gone with the begging bowl, found a very willing China who's willing to use their brand. And this brand is now peddling false narratives against enemy countries in those countries. China is now peddling falsehoods in our country.
And news in brief, General Pervez Musharraf, who seized power in a bloodless coup and later led a reluctant Pakistan into aiding the US war in Afghanistan, passed away at the age of 79 in Dubai hospital. Vadra Congress eulogized Kargil conspirator General Pervez Musharraf. Shashi Tharoor said, and I quote, "Once an impeccable foe of India, he became a real force for peace between 2002 to 2007. PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti also eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf. She said, and I quote, "Deepest condolences, perhaps the only Pak general who genuinely tried to address the Kashmir issue. He wanted a solution according to wishes of people of J&K and acceptable to India and Pakistan." After Vadra Congress and Mehbooba Mufti eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf, BJP came down heavily on Vadra Congress and Mufti for lionizing Musharraf.
जनरल मुशर्रफ है, मैं उनको पहले तो जो उनका आज देहांत हुआ है उनको श्रद्धांजलि देता हूं। अगर वो शांति लाना चाहते थे, कम से कम अपने देश में शांति लाते, वहां से तो उनको निकाल दिया गया। लेकिन आज भी जो हमारे यहां पर
Boost to the defence sector, the Prime Minister is set to inaugurate a new HAL facility. The opposition is set to rake up the Adani mess once again. Showdown in Parliament likely. The BJP swings into action mode as Amit Shah sounds the poll bugle for Tripura.
Another laurel for India at the global stage. Music composer Ricky Cage wins the 3rd Grammy. And a 7.8 magnitude earthquake jolts Turkey. Several are reported dead. Good morning and thank you very much for staying with us on Republic TV. This is Live and Breaking. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri and we are straight away going on across to what's happening in New Delhi as the ongoing budget session of Parliament is likely to witness another chaotic day as opposition parties in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha are staging a protest outside Parliament demanding a debate over the Adani issue. Now, pictures on your screen are of the opposition meeting that took place inside Parliament. That meeting, of course, took place at about 10 o'clock. And right now, you can see visuals of the Parliament reconvening. All right, so even as we await what happens today, we are given to understand that opposition parties are extremely keen and they have in fact come together to question the silence of the government on this issue. The Congress party, of course, has accused the BJP of trying to protect Adani. We are also given to understand today that all political parties had a meeting earlier this morning that was about at 10 o'clock. And in that meeting, it was decided that all political parties will continue to target the government, asking for two things. Either what they want is a JPC, that's a Joint Parliamentary Committee, to probe allegations that have been made by Hindenburg in its report, or the alternative to that is a Supreme Court monitored probe to be set up by the government. They also want the government to discuss this issue in Parliament. Let's go across to Anuj, who's been tracking all the developments since this morning. Anuj, as far as the opposition parties are concerned, they seem pretty firm, want to target the government and question it over its silence. At this point in time, what do you think? How is the day going to pan out? Are we going to see another day of disruptions today?
Well, exactly. That is something what we are expecting today also, because we have seen that how this was the protest at the Gandhi statue in the Parliament itself. This was earlier the meeting of the opposition leaders inside the Parliament also, only to chalk out the strategy that what exactly is going to the next course of action. We have heard Mallikarjun Kharge, the national president of the Congress party and the leader of opposition, who have mentioned it very categorically that they are going to continue with their protest until and unless the government says yes for the discussion. That's something what has been stated by Mallikarjun Kharge. Other than this, we are seeing the opposition leaders.
Hold your thoughts for a minute. We're going to cut across to the Rajya Sabha, to the Lok Sabha, I beg your pardon.
माननीय सदस्यगण, मेरा आपसे आग्रह है कि संसद का समय बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। आज देश के मजदूरों से संबंधित प्रश्न है। आप प्रश्न पूछें, माननीय मंत्री जी जवाब देने को तैयार हैं। ये सदन देश की दिशा तय करता है। चर्चा और संवाद के लिए आपको किसी विषय पर चर्चा और संवाद करनी है तो आप बातचीत करें। आप बिना बातचीत के केवल नियोजित तरीके से सदन को स्थगित कराना ये उचित नहीं है। आप आए, आपका जो भी विषय है, जो भी मुद्दा है, मेरे चेंबर में आए, बातचीत करें। मैं हर मुद्दे पर, हर बात पर आपको चर्चा कराने को तैयार हूं। लेकिन आप चर्चा नहीं करना चाहते, केवल बेल पे नाराबाजी करना चाहते हैं, ये उचित नहीं है। आप विराजे, आप मेरे चेंबर में आए, किसी विषय पर मैं आपको चर्चा संवाद का पर्याप्त मौका दूंगा। अब बेल में आकर नियोजित तरीके से सदन स्थगित करें, ये उचित नहीं है। फिर माननीय सदस्य मैं आपसे आग्रह करूंगा कि नारेबाजी करना देश की जनता के हित के लिए नहीं है। देश की जनता ने आपको चुनकर भेजा है। मजदूरों पे प्रश्न उठा पे आप मजदूरों के सवाल उठाने दो ना उनको। आपके सदस्य वहां विराज हैं, आप बोलने नहीं दे रहे। आप केवल नारेबाजी करने रोज सदन में भेजा है क्या आपको जनता ने? देश की जनता आपको देख रही है। उनके बुनियादी सवालों पर बात करो, चर्चा करो। मैं आपको पर्याप्त समय, पर्याप्त अवसर दूंगा चर्चा और संवाद पर, हर मुद्दे पर। माननीय राष्ट्रपति जी के अभिभाषण पर आप व्यापक चर्चा कर सकते हैं। नहीं, गलत। नारेबाजी करना भारत की संसद की मर्यादाओं के अनुरूप नहीं है। आपने काफी वर्षों तक राज किया है, इतनी पुरानी पार्टी है आपका इस तरीका का व्यवहार उचित नहीं है। माननीय सदस्य के नेता प्लीज आप सीट पर जाइए, माननीय सदस्य को प्रश्न पूछिए। मैं माननीय सदस्य प्रश्न पूछना चाहते हैं, मंत्री जी जवाब देना चाहते हैं। सदन नहीं चलना देना चाहते आप सदन नहीं चलने देना चाहते, सदन में चर्चा नहीं करना चाहते, प्रश्नकाल पर सवाल नहीं उठाना चाहते हैं। सदन की कार्रवाई 2 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।
स्वयं श्री इलामा राम करीम, श्री संतोष कुमार पी, श्री सैयद नासिर हुसैन and Sri Kumar Ketkar. 2 notices have been received beyond the time, including one from Mr.
All right, so the Lok Sabha over there.
Honorable members, honorable members, committed as I am to rule of law and constitution, I am unable to allow the notices being not in conformity with the rule and directions of the chair. No, sir. Selected notices for matters to be raised during zero hour. Shri V. Vijay Sai Reddy. Please take your seat. Take your seat. Honorable members, this is the House of Elders, the upper house. I have repeatedly indicated the stand, and that is carefully thought out, and that is in the shape of directions. The entire nation is looking at us. Absolutely, yes. They want things in the House to be regulated as per law and constitution, and their deliberations are effected. Now, the established practice that a direction has been imparted to frustrate functioning of the House, to put it in disorder, is certainly beyond the expectation of the people. We are not honoring their aspirations. we are not acting in accordance with what we are expected to do. Honorable members, I appeal to you in the name of democracy and constitution to transact business of the day. One second, please take your seat. Take your seat. Honorable members are fully aware more than I am, having been distinguished members of this house for long, that the days we have lost, there was an opportunity in every day to raise the issue the house seeks to raise, to generate optical impressions. We cannot allow rules to be derailed. One second. Honorable members, kindly reflect deeply that the time we have lost on earlier days, each of the days could have been utilized to raise the issues which is close to your heart, which you think is in public interest. The fact that we choose a forum meant for deliberation for extraneous purposes, it is not appropriate. I urge the House to be in order and take up the listed business. It is time for us, and I appeal to you, it is time for us to think what the common man is thinking. We are utilizing huge funds. The House is not in order. This is an outrage of the rules. This is outrage of expectations. The House is not being allowed to run. This is most unfortunate. The House is adjourned to meet at 2 p.m.
Both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha being adjourned within minutes of reconvening. Now, the opposition extremely firm on its demands. They want a discussion to take place. In the Rajya Sabha, of course, the Speaker has disallowed notices on the Adani issue. Do remember that we've been seeing this sort of a ruckus in Parliament since about Thursday. In fact, Thursday almost was completely washed out because both houses of Parliament were continuously adjourned over the Adani issue. Now, the government says that we are willing to talk about it, but we want to discuss the budget speech before that. The opposition very, very firm. Of course, even as we speak right now, there is an opposition protest that is taking place outside of Parliament at the Gandhi statue. Earlier this morning, also we had an opposition party meeting at about 10 o'clock where most opposition parties which attended the meeting actually decided that they were pretty firm. They have two demands. One, of course, is that there should be a joint parliamentary committee that is formed to probe the Hindenburg allegations against the Adani group. And the second is, if that's not done, they want an SC monitored probe. Anuj, coming to you now, it's pretty much been on expected lines, Anuj, today. We've been talking about it since the morning that the opposition very unlikely to budge today. The government, what is it thinking now? How does it hope to break this deadlock?
Well, at this point of time, what we are seeing that the government is continuously trying to tell the opposition that yes, we are ready to do the discussion. We will be doing the discussion, but you have to be in the line. This has to be the proceeding how it has happened earlier also and how the procedure says. But on the other hand, this is the opposition who continuously stand with their demand. They are saying they want discussion. They are not allowing the presidential speech. They are not allowing the proceeding to start. What we have seen today, what we have seen in Lok Sabha, this was for the 6 to 7 minutes when the house started, and in Rajya Sabha we have seen this was for 11 to 12 minutes only, and we have seen the same kind of uproar in both the houses, and the houses are adjourned till 2 p.m. today itself. So this is something what we were expecting, as you pointed it out very rightly. Yes, this was the meeting of the opposition parties to chalk out the strategy early in the morning today. This was at 10 a.m. Later, what we have seen in the parliament itself, the opposition parties leader were protesting at the Gandhi statue in the parliament. And finally, when the session started, we have seen the kind of uproar. There the speaker was continuously saying that come to my desk, come to my cabin, discuss the issues with me. We are ready to discuss. We will be coming out with a solution. We will be debating on the issue, but you will have to go with the procedure of the House. But opposition parties stand firm with their demands, and they are continuously saying that until and unless the discussion will happen on the Adani issue, they are not going to let it happen. The House is not working at this point in time. What we are seeing, we have seen the same kind of actions by the opposition leaders. Earlier also we have seen on the Friday the House was not able to work. We have seen the same kind of actions and the same kind of uproar by the opposition parties in winter session, in monsoon session. So maximum time what is happening in the House is the adjournment. That is something what we are witnessing, and today also this has been repeated, because this was the speaker who was continuously saying that we are ready for the discussion, the government is ready for the discussion.
And in fact, as you're pointing out, Anuj, let's just quickly play out for our viewers what's happened in both houses of parliament this morning. It was very, very brief, about 6 minutes or so, that the Lok Sabha was adjourned thereafter.
Number, question number 41. Sir, question number 41. Sir, we are. आप ऐसे नहीं प्रश्न पूछे, सब पूछाइए आप. आपके सदस्य प्रश्न पूछ रहे हैं. सर, हाउस ऑर्डर में नहीं है. मैं माननीय सदस्य आपको प्रश्न पूछना चाहता हूं. आप विराजे. मंत्री जी का कराइए. माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, उत्तर सभा पटल पे रखा गया. लागू करो. माननीय सदस्यगण, मेरा आपसे आग्रह है कि संसद का समय बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है. आज देश के मजदूरों से संबंधित प्रश्न है. आप प्रश्न पूछें, माननीय मंत्री जी जवाब देने को तैयार हैं. ये सदन देश की दिशा तय करता है. चर्चा और संवाद के लिए आपको किसी विषय पर चर्चा और संवाद करनी है तो आप बातचीत करें. आप बिना बातचीत के केवल नियोजित तरीके से सदन को स्थगित कराना ये उचित नहीं है. आप आए, आपका जो भी विषय है, जो भी मुद्दा है, मेरे चेंबर में आए, बातचीत करें. मैं हर मुद्दे पर, हर बात पर आपको चर्चा कराने को तैयार हूं. लेकिन आप चर्चा नहीं करना चाहते, केवल बेल पे नाराबाजी करना चाहते हैं, ये उचित नहीं है. आप विराजे, आप मेरे चेंबर में आए, किसी विषय पर मैं आपको चर्चा संवाद का पर्याप्त मौका दूंगा. अब बेल में आकर नियोजित तरीके से सदन स्थगित करें, ये उचित नहीं है. फिर माननीय सदस्य, मैं आपसे आग्रह करूंगा कि नारेबाजी करना देश की जनता के हित के लिए नहीं है. देश की जनता ने आपको चुनकर भेजा है. मजदूरों पे प्रश्न उठा पे, आप मजदूरों के सवाल उठाने दो ना उनको. आपके सदस्य वहां विराज हैं, आप बोलने नहीं दे रहे. आप केवल नारेबाजी करने रोज सदन में भेजा है क्या आपको जनता ने? देश की जनता आपको देख रही है. उनके बुनियादी सवालों पर बात करो, चर्चा करो. मैं आपको पर्याप्त समय, पर्याप्त अवसर दूंगा चर्चा और संवाद पर, हर मुद्दे पर. माननीय राष्ट्रपति जी के अभिभाषण पर आप व्यापक चर्चा कर सकते हैं. नहीं, गलत. नारेबाजी करना भारत की संसद की मर्यादाओं के अनुरूप नहीं है. आपने काफी वर्षों तक राज किया है. इतनी पुरानी पार्टी है आपका इस तरीका का व्यवहार उचित नहीं है. माननीय सदस्य के नेता, प्लीज आप सीट पर जाइए. माननीय सदस्य को प्रश्न पूछिए. मैं माननीय सदस्य प्रश्न पूछना चाहते हैं, मंत्री जी जवाब देना चाहते हैं. सदन नहीं चलना देना चाहते आप आप सदन नहीं चलने देना चाहते, सदन में चर्चा नहीं करना चाहते, प्रश्नकाल पर सवाल नहीं उठाना चाहते हैं, सदन की कार्रवाई 2 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।
Right, even as both houses of parliament stand adjourned right now till about 2 o'clock this afternoon, we are given to understand that the Congress party will be protesting across the country as well. In fact, they are going to be protesting outside LIC as well as SBI offices. I'm going to come back to you, Anuj, in just a bit, but let's very quickly listen into what happened in the Rajya Sabha, which was also adjourned shortly after being reconvened.
Selected notices for matters to be raised during zero hour. Shri V. Vijay Sai Reddy. Please take your seat. Take your seat. Honorable members, this is the House of Elders, the upper house. I have repeatedly indicated the stand, and that is carefully thought out, and that is in the shape of directions. The entire nation is looking at us.
Absolutely, yes.
They want things in the House to be regulated as per law and constitution, and their deliberations are effected. Now, the established practice that a direction has been imparted to frustrate functioning of the House, to put it in disorder, is certainly beyond the expectation of the people. We are not honoring their aspirations. We are not acting in accordance with what we are expected to do. Honorable members, I appeal to you in the name of democracy and constitution to transact business of the day. One second, please take your seat. Take your seat. Honorable members are fully aware more than I am, having been distinguished members of this House for long, that the days we have lost, there was an opportunity in every day to raise the issue the House seeks to raise, to generate optical impressions. We cannot allow rules to be derailed. One second. Honorable members, kindly reflect deeply that the time we have lost on earlier days, each of the days could have been utilized to raise the issues which is close to your heart, which you think is in public interest. The fact that we choose a forum meant for deliberation for extraneous purposes, it is not appropriate. I urge the House to be in order and take up the listed business. It is time for us, and I appeal to you, it is time for us to think what the common man is thinking. We are utilizing huge funds. The House is not in order. This is an outrage of the rules. This is outrage of expectations. The House is not being allowed to run. This is most unfortunate. The House is urgent to meet at 2 p.m.
All right, even as both houses of parliament now stand adjourned, pictures on your screen are of protests that are taking place in 3 cities. These are protests that are being led by the Congress party. There you can...
बिहार जाना चाहते हैं, इसलिए वो अलग अलग प्रांतों को जाना चाहते हैं. वो अभी खुद लोग बोलना चाहिए, देश का नेता खुद बोलते हैं, खुद का पोस्टर में खुद का लिख लेते हैं, मैं देश का नेता हूँ, मैं देश का नेता हूँ। देश का नेता खुद बोलने से नहीं, आम जनता बोलना पड़ेगा, समाज बोलना पड़ेगा, जब भी नेता बनेगा आप।
See, this is the false statement again by the finance minister when the Hindenburg has given the report saying that this Adani group has confiscated the statements and the records, and the world's richest person is now 40th richest. I seriously take this note to the people should come and fight for their rights, saying that this Adani group has cheated the people, and why the Adani, the world richest person, within a week has fallen to 40th richest in this country. They are trying to safeguard their Modi's closest friend Adani, and this and Congress party will stand by the people and will fight for the people.
Sir, how long is the party planning to take on this?
As long as the Adani group shares and properties are attached and the joint parliamentary committee is constituted, we'll fight and we'll do this dharna statewide, nationwide. Thank you.
We are expecting Prime Minister Narendra Modi to arrive shortly here at the India Energy Week, and he's already landed at the HAL airport in Bengaluru, and he will shortly be arriving via chopper at the Bangalore International Exhibition Centre, where there are over 8,000 delegates and 500 plus speakers who will be coming in. All this and much more shortly on the other side of the short break, only on Republic. Stay tuned.
You've been attacking the BBC, you've been looking at the China angle on various things, and I thought it would be very interesting to discuss with you the China angle. First of all, Tony, just to begin by starting by asking you, are we making too much of the China angle in everything?
Every time we make an allegation about the close connection of the Congress party with the CCCP, this is denied. Then we point out that, you are really saying things which would certainly resonate with China. You undermine our Jawan and their efforts. I mean, first of all, you're making all these pro-China noises. Then why are we not having any glimpse of that much spoken about document? This is surely not a private affair between you and the CCCP.
Victor Force, Delta Force, Uniform Force, इनके नाम के पीछे क्या है? 6 months I went to Chief's office one day. The force headquarters have been sanctioned and we have to give the names. Think of the names today and tomorrow we want the name. I said, sir, जो वैली में है, call it Victor Force. कश्मीर में है, call it Kilo Force. He said, Alpha Bravo Charlie जानता है. मैं कहा, sir, this is all that I can think of the time that you have given me.
While growing up, who did you look up to? Who was your idol?
Dalip Kumar.
And you were fortunate enough to work with him as well.
I was wanting to work with him. This was my dream to work with him. And I was very fortunate when I was offered Dastan, the first film with him. And I used to be sitting there and watching him. He was so good and a great actor, but he was a greater human being as well.
See, Mr. Jetpalani, you have said that the BBC is paid by China. Now, question is, you've also said that there are several Chinese companies transacting with the BBC. Does this mean the BBC is bought over?
We are one of the biggest dangers to China. There was a time when the BBC had been reduced to beggary, and obviously they've gone with the begging bowl, found a very willing China who's willing to use their brand, and this brand is now peddling false narratives against enemy countries in those countries. China is now peddling falsehoods in our country.
And news in brief, General Parvez Musharraf, who sees A very good morning. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching Live and Breaking, and I'm Samiksha Srivastava. Our top focus remains the protest taking place pan-India over demand for a joint parliamentary probe into the Adani matter. In fact, the opposition staging a protest in several cities, including Hyderabad, Chennai, and even in Mumbai, saying that there should be a joint parliamentary probe into the Adani matter. We get you all that and more, starting first with the top headlines this Monday morning. Big boost to defence sector. Prime Minister Modi set to inaugurate HAL facility today. Opposition set to rake up Adani mess once again. Showdown in Parliament today. BJP swings into action mode. Amit Shah sounds poll bugle in Tripura. Another laurel for India at global stage. Music composer Ricky Cage wins 3rd Grammy. .8 magnitude earthquake jolts Turkey as per reports. More than 150 people dead. Now, amid the ongoing budget session, both the houses, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, have now been adjourned following the ruckus that ensued by the opposition leaders. Meanwhile, simultaneously, a protest being taking place at several of those cities, including Hyderabad, Chennai and Bengaluru. The visuals there on your screens. Remember earlier today, the opposition leaders also staged a protest at the Gandhi statue and continuously putting out all those updates as opposition remains completely up in arms. Staging protests in several cities, including in Hyderabad, Chennai and Bengaluru.
कि पूरी एक जॉइंट कमेटी की बात हो और पार्लियामेंट के अंदर भी इसकी बात हो, इसकी जांच हो, इससे पहले कि वो इस देश छोड़ को चले। सीधी सी बात है कि उसने भी उसको लोन दिया हुआ है। हम चाहते हैं, इस भाई को आगाह करना चाहते हैं कि ये क्यों कंप्लेंट नहीं करते। एसबीआई के अंदर भी कोई आदमी बैठा होगा जिसको फोन करा गया होगा कि अडानी को लोन दिया जाए, इसलिए मैं खड़ा। बिल्कुल लोन की रिकवरी की भी जाए और साथ ही साथ इस जनता को और प्रशासन को एक नोटिस भी लिखा जाए कि अडानी ने हमने से इतने करोड़ का लोन लिया।
All right, so there you heard reactions, simultaneously getting all those reactions from several cities, including Chennai, Bengaluru and Hyderabad, where the opposition, the Congress, is staging a protest. There is a clamour for a joint parliamentary committee probe into the Adani matter. Also, remember earlier today, the Congress staged, the opposition leaders, including the Congress, staged a protest at the Gandhi statue. Later on, both the houses of the parliament, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, have been adjourned till 2 p.m. today. We'll go across to our reporters as well on the ground to get a sense of what are exactly the opposition demands. But from what it appears, the chorus is only getting louder for a joint parliamentary committee probe into the Adani matter, saying that opposition there demanding a discussion in the parliament or the Adani matter. And in fact, on that note, another reaction that is coming in from the opposition leader on the ruckus taking place in several cities.
अगर गौतम अडानी देश छोड़ के भाग गया, इस बात की क्या गारंटी है? इसलिए प्रधानमंत्री की नैतिक जिम्मेदारी है, उन्हें अपनी चुप्पी तोड़नी चाहिए।
All right, Anuj is joining us live from the national capital. Anuj, how's the situation looking like in the national capital? Of course, the visuals on our screens give us a picture, the kind of sentiment on the ground of these opposition leaders who have just one demand, primarily for that joint parliamentary committee probe into the Adani matter. What is the centre exactly saying in terms of the demand by the opposition?
Well, Samiksha, if we talk about the parliament, if we talk about both the houses, then the houses has been already adjourned till 2 p.m. And we do remember what has happened since from the morning. If we talk about today, then this was the meeting of the opposition leaders, which first happened in the parliament at 10 a.m. Later, what we have seen is the protest of the opposition parties at the Gandhi statue in the parliament itself. Later, what was witnessed, the uproar in both the houses. So we have seen the Lok Sabha worked for 6 to 7 minutes. Whereas if we talk about Rajya Sabha, this was again the ruckus, the uproar which was witnessed, and it was for 11 to 12 minutes. That is something what has been witnessed till now. Other than this, let me tell you, Samiksha, that this is going to be the protest outside the parliament also. Congress party has called a protest across the country, right outside the SBI offices and the LIC offices. So as we are getting the pictures from Chennai, Hyderabad, so there are many more to come from the national capital also. What we have been told, this is NSUI and the IYC, the youth wing of the Congress party, who are all set to protest right outside the SBI and near the Shastri Bhavan where all the ministries are. So if we talk about the opposition parties, they stuck with their demand, they are firm with their demand. They are saying...
Anuj, I'm sorry, I'll have to interrupt you there. We have Gursimran also joining us live from Jammu, where the Congress is staging a protest. Gursimran, give us a sense of what is happening in Jammu, by especially in terms of the protest taking place by the opposition demanding a JPC inquiry into the Adani matter.
See, the Congress party is staging a protest. I'll request Sarjeevan to move to the visuals that these are the protests that are taking place. The Congress workers, they have been stopped by the Jammu and Kashmir police, but they are not stopping. They are saying that they want the Joint Parliamentary Committee, and without JPC they have no demands. The government is saying that they are ready for the discussion inside the parliament. Then why this ruckus?
When this is proved that such a big scam has been done in the history of India first ever, so we are demanding inquiry, we are demanding action. The time of discussion has been gone. This was the money of taxpayer Indians, not the money of BJP leaders or Modi ji. So we demand action.
But the government is saying that we are ready for any kind of discussion within the house.
So many things can happen. They are just lingering on the things. It will not happen again, and Congress demands a strict action against Adani because it has been proved that he has done the fraud in the history of corporate world.
तो आपसे जानना चाहूंगा, लगातार आप लोग विरोध प्रदर्शन कर रहे हैं, सरकार ये कह रही है कि अब हम तो हाउस में चर्चा के लिए तैयार हैं, फिर आखिरकार क्यों इतना विरोध प्रदर्शन?
देखिए, कहां पे हाउस में चर्चा के लिए तैयार है जब
स्पीकर की तरफ से?
देखिए, स्पीकर कह रहे तो करवा क्यों नहीं रहे, बार बार स्थगित क्यों कर दिया जाता है? जब विपक्ष मांग करता है चर्चा की, जब विपक्ष कहता है कि जेपीसी की मांग होनी चाहिए, तो क्यों वहां पे उनकी अनदेखी की जाती है? पिछले कितने दिनों से डेडलॉक बना हुआ है हाउस के अंदर। ये बिल्कुल बरगलाने की कोशिश है, मीडिया में कुछ कहते हैं और हाउस के अंदर कुछ करते हैं। हम लोग ये पूछना चाहते हैं कि एलआईसी जैसे संस्थान, एसबीआई जैसे संस्थान, जो कि जहां पे गरीब जनता अपना पैसा रखती थी, 22 करोड़ लोगों का विश्वास है एलआईसी पे, ये विश्वासघात करने का काम सरकार ने किया है। और हम
the Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. The police has stopped the Congress workers from coming to this place, but now what the Congress workers are doing, that they are pushing these barricades so that they can come over to this side. However, the police has made it amply clear that the Congress workers won't be allowed, and the scuffle that is taking place between the Congress top leadership as well as the Jammu and Kashmir police, because they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office. But this scuffle is taking place where the Congress workers, they are pushing these barricades. They are trying to break these barricadings by the Jammu and Kashmir police, and they say that they won't stop, and this is the government's failure, that the government has put the stakes of the countries when it comes to the LIC and SPI. However, despite many clarifications by the police, by the union government, the Congress seems to be in no mood of coming into the house, and that's why these massive protests are taking place here in Jammu as well, where the barricades have been broken by the Congress workers, saying that the police is trying to stop them from holding the protest, but the police is saying that only this permission was granted, and if the Congress workers try to break this, then they will be detained. I'll request Sarjeevan to come this way, as the Congress workers are now being detained by the Jammu Jammu and Kashmir police, as the police, they have broken the barricading. आपसे जानना चाहूँगा, लगातार सरकार भी कह रही है कि हम डिस्कशन के लिए तैयार हैं, फिर आखिरकार ये सब क्यों?
ये सरकार सिर्फ बोलने की सरकार है, करने की नहीं है। अगर ये करने वाली सरकार होती तो आज तक करती नहीं। क्यों ये ज्वाइंट पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी के अंदर क्यों नहीं लेके जा रहे हैं?
अरे हाउस में डिस्कशन करेंगे।
क्यों डिस्कशन करेंगे? बाकियों के उठा के अंदर करते हैं, अपनी बारी ये डिस्कशन करेंगे। इनकी डिस्कशन नहीं, हमें अडानी के खिलाफ यहाँ पर पूरी की पूरी कमेटी बैठी और उसके खिलाफ इंक्वायरी चाहिए।
So the Congress workers are saying that they want an inquiry, an in-depth inquiry, and nothing less than the joint parliamentary committee is acceptable to them, is what the Congress workers are saying. They have broken the barricading, but now the police is saying that they won't be allowed beyond this point. The Congress workers have made one thing, what they are saying very clear, that it is only the JPC demand that will stand by. Nothing below than the joint parliamentary committee will work for them. And even the question of when it comes to the in-house debate, they are saying that that is nothing but mere an eyewash. Yes.
And as we speak, the sense we get is that the same sentiment that is resonating across the country, which is primarily a demand for a joint parliamentary committee probe into the Adani matter. Now, just to take our viewers and give a recap of what has happened over the last few days, remember, SEBI has also issued a statement saying that it is committed to ensuring stock markets integrity and that necessary surveillance measures are in place and that there has been an unusual price movement that has been observed. But as we speak, the visuals there on your screens of the pan-India protest taking place, the protest being staged by the Congress in Jammu, Hyderabad, Bengaluru and Chennai. The protests being staged pan-India outside the LIC offices, demanding a joint parliamentary committee probe into the Adani matter, also demanding a discussion in the parliament. But remember, as we speak, we're given to understand that both the houses of the parliament have been adjourned till 2 p.m. today. This, of course, after ruckus and a lot of sloganeering that was observed in both houses of the parliament. Gursimran, of course, continues to be with us. Gursimran, once again, for our viewers who are just tuning in, if you could once again enumerate to us in bullet points the primary demands of the opposition leaders when it comes to the Adani matter.
See, the Congress party is staging protest here in Jammu and they are saying that the only demand is the joint parliamentary committee. We'll try to speak, ask some of the Congress leaders. Sir, sarkar ki taraf. There is a huge protest that is being created here by the Congress workers as they are being stopped by the J&K police. विश्वविकार साहब, सरकार कह रही है कि हम जो है, सरकार कह रही है हाउस में बातचीत के लिए विकार साहब, सरकार कह रही है
हो गया, हमें कोई रुक जाओ, चलो हो गया।
उसमें डिबेट के लिए तैयार
बोलती है सरकार, करती है।
जो सरकार बोलती है वो करती नहीं है, क्योंकि सरकार हर चीज गलत बोल रही है। जैसे 2013 में अडानी की जो दौलत थी वो अडानी 700वें नंबर पे था और मोदी जी ने अपने 8 साल में उसको दुनिया के दूसरे नंबर पे फ्रॉड करके पहुंचाया। और आज जब उसके शेयर टूट रहे हैं तो पूरे मुल्क के जितने भी बैंकों से 2.5 लाख करोड़ उसको कर्जा दिया गया।
So this is the Congress party that is saying that there is only one demand, that is the joint parliamentary committee to be JPC to be formed. Otherwise, they are not ready even for the discussion within the House. Yes.
Very onset, I would like to request our host minister, our Honourable Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, for his welcome remarks.
You're famous for your dialogues. I'm sure everybody who's seen your films remember the dialogues that you've given us.
I was already established as a star in my way, So Azad Saab told me, I want you in this film. And then he said, it is only a special appearance. I was little bit of conscious of it. ये ना हो कि कल मैं आपकी पिक्चर में guest appearance करूँ, वो भी मुझे कहें तो guest appearance. He says, no, I don't want to know that. You're doing the picture. प्रेम नाम है मेरा, प्रेम चोपड़ा.
You've been attacking the BBC, you've been looking at the China angle on various things, and I thought it would be very interesting to discuss with you the China angle. First of all, Tony, just to begin by starting by asking you, are we making too much of the China angle in everything?
Every time we make an allegation about the close connection of the Congress party with the CCCP, this is denied. Then we point out that you are really saying things which would certainly resonate with China. You undermine our Jawan and their efforts. I mean, first of all, you're making all these pro-China noise. Then why are we not having any glimpse of that much spoken about document? This is surely not a private affair between you and the CCCP.
Victor Force, Delta Force, Uniform Force, इनके नाम के पीछे क्या है सर? 6 months I went to Chief's office one day. The force headquarters have been sanctioned and we have to give the names. Think of the names today and tomorrow we want the names. I said, sir, जो वैली में है, call it Victor Force. कश्मीर में है, call it Kilo Force. He said, Alpha Bravo Charlie जानता है. मैं कहा सर, this is all that I can think of the time that you have given me.
While growing up, who did you look up to? Who was your idol?
Dalip Kumar.
And you were fortunate enough to work with him as well.
I was wanting to work with him. This was my dream to work with him. And I was very fortunate when I was offered Dastan, the first film with him. And I used to be sitting there and watching him. He was so good and a great actor, but he was a greater human being as well.
See, Mr. Jetpalani, you have said that the BBC is paid.
Showing you live and breaking from the mayor elections which are happening today, but till now what we are getting to learn is that house has been adjourned for 10 minutes, but the voting for mayor and deputy mayor will resume after 10 minutes after a lot of ruckus inside the civic center. Stay tuned with us, we'll be right back after a short break.
क्यों जरूरत पड़ी देश को राष्ट्रीय राइफल्स जैसी फोर्स रेज करने? किसका आइडिया था? क्यों जरूरत पड़ी सर? There was a necessity to have a force. Our army was considered is not enough in size. We must have another force. A new force was thought of, that's the Rashtriya Rifle. These battalions were to be given a special task. I'm told that probably this is the biggest counterinsurgency force in the world.
You're famous for your dialogues. I'm sure everybody who's seen your films remember the dialogues that you've given us.
I was already established as a star in my way, So Azad Saab told me, I want you in this film. And then he said, it is only a special appearance. I was little bit of conscious of it. ये ना हो कि कल मैं आपकी पिक्चर में guest appearance करूँ, वो भी मुझे कहें तो guest appearance. He says, no, I don't want to know that. You're doing the picture. प्रेम नाम है मेरा, प्रेम चोपड़ा.
You've been attacking the BBC, you've been looking at the China angle on various things, and I thought it would be very interesting to discuss with you the China angle. First of all, Tony, just to begin by starting by asking you, are we making too much of the China angle in everything?
Every time we make an allegation about the close connection of the Congress party with the CCCP, this is denied. Then we point out that you are really saying things which would certainly resonate with China. You undermine our Jawan and their efforts. I mean, first of all, you're making all these pro-China noise. Then why are we not having any glimpse of that much spoken about document? This is surely not a private affair between you and the CCCP.
विक्टर फोर्स, डेल्टा फोर्स, यूनिफॉर्म फोर्स, इनके नाम के पीछे क्या है? 6 months I went to chief's office one day. The force headquarters have been sanctioned and we have to give the names. Think of the names today and tomorrow we want the names. I said, sir, जो वैली में है, call it Victor Force. कश्मीर में है, call it Kilo Force. He said, Alpha Bravo Charlie जानता है. मैं कहा, sir, this is all that I can think of the time that you have given me.
While on to the other big story that's coming in from the national capital, where the municipal house is all set to elect the Delhi mayor today. Harsha is joining us live from the location. Harsha, we understand massive war of words has yet again erupted between AAP and the BJP. Meanwhile, there are poaching claims also there being made by both the sides. Take us through all those updates you're picking up.
Exactly, Samisha. In the early morning hours, we saw how the BJP leaders did the press conference where they clearly stated that there are Aam Aadmi Party leaders who are approaching the BJP councillors and are trying to horse trade and are approaching them continuously to cross vote against the BJP. And now what we are learning is that the house has been adjourned for 10 minutes, and it is because the ruckus started a lot inside when the speaker was continuously stating that that the mayor, deputy mayor, and the standing committee election will happen today only, and it will be done, and all three members will be elected today. And after that, we saw, as the speaker clearly stated, that eldermen will also vote in this election for mayor, deputy mayor, and standing committee member. But after soon that, the ruckus was started because BJP councillor were continuously stating that the eldermen could not vote in this election for mayor, deputy mayor, and the standing committee because they are not allowed to. We'll go and speak more to Harish Khurana as well, because eldermen have been allowed to vote for the position of mayor, deputy mayor, and the standing committee. And BJP was clearly stating that according to the High Court judgment, they are not allowed to vote. But the speaker said that in the order of 2016, it is allowed that eldermen can vote for the position of mayor, deputy mayor, and standing committee. Harish Khurana ji, आज फिर इतना बवाल हुआ, इतना रकस हुआ, 10 मिनट के लिए फिर से हाउस एडजर्न कर दी गई है. क्या लग रहा है कि आज चुना जा पाएगा मेयर, डिप्टी मेयर?
Everybody has seen today, leader of house of Aam Aadmi Party, Mukesh Goyal, started a ruckus today again, indicating and challenging what the decision of chairperson, presiding officer. It's clearly said they are not in intention of having the election today because the house was not in order. So presiding officer has adjourned for 10 minutes. But the thing is, they don't want the election to happen again. They are saying about they are taking a technical things on the ground, but they should understand the presiding officer is the ultimate authority. And what she said the election of all three, mayor, deputy mayor, and standing committee members, should be going together. Why they are getting a ruckus on that?
She also said that eldermen are allowed to vote today, and she also stated that according to judgment, eldermen are allowed. By the time we were also seeing that some of the BJP councillors were stating that eldermen could not vote. They were not allowed to vote.
See, where is written they cannot vote? Where is it written? Point is this. I mean, it should be run by through the constitution only. And the constitution clearly said when in Rajya Sabha also, nominated Rajya Sabha MPs can vote, why not over here? And it's clearly written. And if you have some problem, go in a court and challenge it. But when you are claiming you have 151 members, and if hypothetically if let 10 members also vote, what makes a difference? You are claiming that you have a majority. Point is, you don't want to run this house.
All right, to big news break coming in this hour. National Security Act that has been imposed on two people, Satyendra Kushwaha and Salim, by the Lucknow District Magistrate over burning of copies of Ramcharitmanas. Remember, it was on 29th of January that the video of the two, Salim and Satyendra Kushwaha, and 10 others that went viral, in which they were seen burning the religious text of Ramcharitmanas. Those are the visuals also we are continuously putting on our screens. The latest coming in, that NSA that has been imposed on Satyendra Kushwaha as well as Salim by the Lucknow District Magistrate. Well, that's the action that's been taken by the UP government. So big action there. This, of course, after the holy text Ramcharitmanas was burned by Satyendra Kushwaha and Salim on 29th of January, the video of which also went viral and triggered quite an uproar across the country. A case, meanwhile, was also registered against 5 people, which included Satyendra Kushwaha, of course, Yashpal Singh Lodhi, Devendra Pratap Yadav, as well as Suresh Singh and Muhammad Salim. The latest, of course, coming in, that NSA that has been imposed on Satyendra Kushwaha and Muhammad Salim on the complaint that was filed for burning of holy text of Ramcharitmanas on 29th of January. So a big action that's been taken by the UP police, NSA that has been imposed on Satyendra Kushwaha as well as Muhammad Salim for burning of the holy text Ramcharitmanas on 29th of January. That's of course the latest that has come in. NSA that has been slapped by the UP cops on Muhammad Salim and Satyendra Kushwaha, who burnt the holy text Ramcharitmanas on January 29th. This, of course, after they were booked, there was a complaint that was filed against them, an FI that was registered, but the latest action that's been taken by the UP cops invoking NSA, the National Security Act, against the 2 accused in this case, who are Satyendra Kushwaha as well as Muhammad Salim, for burning of the Ramcharitmanas. Remember, it was Samajwadi Party leader Swami Prasad Maurya who had quoted a controversy by alleging certain verses of the Ramcharitmanas as an insult to a large section of the society. Yogi government there slapping NSA on the 2 accused in this case.
Ladies and gentlemen, and my press friends. At the outset, I thank the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji.
There is a BBC-China conspiracy. In that case, what is the intention? Is it to needle Narendra Modi? Is it to upset the Narendra Modi campaign for 2024 re-election?
For the first time, Prime Minister Modi is standing up to them. China has finally found a leader who has given them a bloody nose in Doklam and in Galwan. And we are matching them build-up of infrastructure for build-up of infrastructure. We have fortified the northeast, Arunachal Pradesh, which is part of the northeast, of course, and all those border areas which are sensitive. We are going to be a very dangerous military foe. No longer is there going to be salami slicing without a very high cost to pay.
क्यों जरूरत पड़ी देश को राष्ट्रीय राइफल्स जैसी फोर्स रेज करने? किसका आइडिया था? क्यों जरूरत पड़ी सर? There was a necessity to have a force. Our army was considered is not enough in size. We must have another force. A new force was thought of, that is the Rashtriya Rifle. These battalions were to be given a special task. I am told that probably this is the biggest counterinsurgency force in the world.
You're famous for your dialogues. I'm sure everybody who's seen your films remember the dialogues that you've given us.
I was already established as a star in my way. So Azad Saab told me, I want you in this film. And then he said, it is only a special appearance. You know, I was little bit of conscious of it. ये ना हो कि कल मैं आपकी पिक्चर में guest appearance करूँ, वो भी मुझे कहें तो guest appearance. He says, no, I don't want to know that. You're doing the picture. प्रेम नाम है मेरा, प्रेम चोपड़ा.
You've been attacking the BBC, you've been looking at the China angle on various things, and I thought it would be very interesting to discuss with you the China angle. First of all, Tony, just to begin by starting by asking you, are we making too much of the China angle in everything?
Every time we make an allegation about the close connection of the Congress party with the CCCP, this is denied. Then we point out that, you are really saying things which would certainly resonate with China. You undermine our Jawan and their efforts. I mean, first of all, you're making all these pro-China noises. Then why are we not having any glimpse of that much spoken about document? This is surely not a private affair between you and the CCCP.
Victor Force, Delta Force, Uniform Force. इनके नाम के पीछे क्या है सर? 6 months I went to Chief's office one day. The force headquarters have been sanctioned and we have to give the names. Think of the names today and tomorrow we want the names. ऐसे सर जो वैली में है, call it Victor Force. कश्मीर में
Good afternoon and welcome. You're watching live and breaking on Republic TV. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri. Now, straight off to the big story that we are tracking right now, we are given to understand that the National Security Act has been imposed on two people, namely Satyendra Kushwaha as well as Salim by the district magistrate in Lucknow. Now, this is over the issue of burning copies of the Ramcharitmanas. On 29th of January, the video of these two and 10 others who were seen in the pictures were allegedly seen burning the Ramcharitmanas. Now, these pictures had gone viral. So, of course, after this, we are given to understand that the National Security Act has been imposed on these two people. These pictures that had gone viral, of course, had invoked many responses from people, and pictures on your screen are of what happened after the Ramcharitmanas and its copies were burnt. So what we are given to understand right now is that the UP police, of course, has slapped the NSA on two Samajwadi Party workers for desecrating copies of the Ramcharitmanas. Now, these two workers are Muhammad Salim and Satyendra Kushwaha. They were seen on Sunday burning copies of the Ramcharitmanas. Now, so the Lucknow police swinging into action and slapping the National Security Act on these two. On the 29th, of course, a video of Salim and Kushwaha burning copies of the Ramcharitmanas had gone viral now. A case was also registered against 5 other people, including these two Samajwadi Party leaders. On the phone line with us is Mr. Poonawala. Mr. Poonawala, the Uttar Pradesh police now slapping the NSA against these two Samajwadi Party workers. How do you see this move?
You know, I welcome this move because obviously this is intended to, in fact, damage the social fabric of the country, to instigate riots, to create a law and order situation. And therefore, this kind of disrespect, this kind of assault and insult of our sacred scriptures of the Hindu religion, of Ramcharitmanas, which is a recitation on the Hindu religion and on a very important aspect of Hinduism, cannot be tolerated. If this would have been done for any other religion, what would have been the response? People would be on the streets chanting Sartan se juda, Sartan se juda. Here the legal process has been activated by Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, and we welcome it, and it should be a zero tolerance against this. But important aspect is, why is Samajwadi Party leadership quiet on this? They say sapne mein.
इससे बड़ी कोई बेबुनियाद बात हो नहीं सकती। सोनिया जी, 80 करोड़ लोगों को खाना खिलाया जा रहा है, गरीबों को भारत सरकार पूरा खर्चा कर रही है, तो गरीब की चिंता है कि नहीं? कोरोना काल में 200 करोड़ टीके लगे गए, गरीबों को भी लगे, ये गरीबों की चिंता है या नहीं? आज भारत में सड़कें बन रही हैं कि नहीं? भारत का डिजिटल बदलाव हो रहा है या नहीं? आज 20 लाख करोड़ के किसानों के लिए व्यवस्था की गई है या नहीं? आज श्रमजीवियों के लिए, जिन्होंने विश्वकर्मा बंधु का नाम दिया है, मछुआरों के लिए उनके लिए 6000 करोड़ की योजना बनाई गई है। तो भारत तो हर तरफ बढ़ रहा है और दुनिया की 5वीं इकॉनमी भी बन गया है, सबसे अधिक FDI भी आया है। तो इसके बावजूद अगर आपको लगता है कि भारत में गरीबों की चिंता नहीं हो रही है, तो इससे बड़ी कोई बेबुनियाद बात हो नहीं सकती। नरेंद्र मोदी की अगुवाई में भारत के गरीबों को मजबूत किया जा रहा है, ताकि वो आगे बढ़ें और देश का नाम करें और अपने अवसर पैदा करें।
All right, going back to the other story that we were tracking earlier, pictures on your screen are of what happened where Samajwadi Party workers had burnt copies of the Ramcharitmanas. Now, we are told that the Lucknow police has slapped NSA on at least 2 of these 5 people against whom cases were registered. This was on the complaint that was filed by Satnam Singh Lavi, who alleged that the act of burning copies of the Ramcharitmanas poses a threat to peace and in the community. Now, these accused, of course, which includes 2 workers from the Samajwadi Party, were booked under sections 142, 143, 153A, 295 as well as 298 of the Indian Penal Code. Now, Samajwadi Party leader Swami Prasad Maurya, of course, had kicked up a controversy alleging that certain verses of the Ramcharitmanas insult a large section of society on the basis of caste and demanded that these be banned.
नमस्कार, मैं इस समय लखनऊ में मौजूद हूं और मेरे साथ हैं उत्तर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ। बाबा, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद रिपब्लिक मीडिया नेटवर्क से बात करने के लिए। बाबा, जब आप पहली बार मुख्यमंत्री बने, और मैं समय व्यस्त नहीं कर रहा हूं, सीधा पॉइंट पे आ रहा हूं। जब आप पहली बार मुख्यमंत्री बने तो लोगों ने कहा भाई बाबा हैं, इनको सरकार चलाना क्या आता है। अब आप दूसरी बार मुख्यमंत्री बने तो वो कह रहे भाई चलो सरकार चलाना सीख लिया, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन सीख लिया, इन्वेस्टर समिट क्या पता बाबा को। यूपी इन्वेस्टर समिट हो रहा है, ये क्या है?
देखिए, उत्तर प्रदेश इन्वेस्टर समिट 2018 में भी हो चुका है
जी।
ये ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टर समिट है।
ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टर समिट।
और इन्वेस्टर समिट का मतलब क्या है, या उत्तर प्रदेश का नौजवान, उत्तर प्रदेश का उद्यमी
जी,
और उत्तर प्रदेश का प्रत्येक नागरिक इसके साथ जुड़ा हुआ है, वह समय आने पे इसका जवाब भी देगा।
लेकिन अगर एक आम जनता के लिए, उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता के लिए, मैंने देखा, मैं लखनऊ में जब लैंड किया आया, पानी की टंकियों तक यूपी इन्वेस्टर समिट हर जगह है। तो एक आम उत्तर प्रदेश के युवा को, एक आम उत्तर प्रदेश में काम करने वाले को, चाहे वो बिजनेस वाला हो, नौकरी वाला हो, युवा हो, वो आगे बढ़ने की सोच रहा हो, उसको ये कैसे इम्पैक्ट करेगा? अगर बाबा आपको समझाना हो, अगर उत्तर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री के तौर पे अगर आपको समझाना हो, तो आप कैसे बताएंगे कि ये डायरेक्टली इम्पैक्ट करेगा उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता को? कैसे?
देखिए, फरवरी 18 में हम लोगों ने जब इन्वेस्टर समिट किया था
जी,
तो वह प्रदेश की राजधानी लखनऊ को केंद्र में रख करके यहाँ पे देश के हर बड़े उद्यमी को, निवेशक को बुला करके और उनके माध्यम से इस कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाया था। ज़्यादातर हमें प्रस्ताव प्राप्त हुए थे एनसीआर के और राजधानी लखनऊ और उसके आसपास के कुछ क्षेत्रों के।
All right, we are cutting across to what's happening in terms of the mayoral elections that were taking place in Delhi. Now, do remember that this is the 3rd time that there is an attempt to elect a mayor in Delhi. The last 2 times, of course, the MCD house had to be adjourned. Let me go across to Harsha to try and understand what's happening over there. There was a ruckus in the house earlier as well. So, Harsha, if you can hear me, give us a sense of what's happening in the mayoral elections. This, of course, is the 3rd attempt that is being made to elect a mayor.
Exactly, Nupur. Now we are showing you the visuals as what is happening in the house. As you can see, that BJP and our councillors have come in front, and the presiding officer are continuously asking them to remain peace and maintain peace in the house. But both have started sloganeering, as you can clearly see that the election of mayor and deputy mayor could not start now till it's more than 11 o'clock. But till now, the voting has not started because presiding officer clearly stated that Akhilesh Tripathi and Sanjeev Kumar, the MLAs of Aam Aadmi Party, against whom corruption cases is already going on, they are not allowed to vote today. And against them, BJP councillors have started protesting inside the house only, that these 2 Aam Aadmi Party MLAs should go out of the house and they are not allowed to vote today. As Nupur, can you see the visual? The ruckus has started, the sloganeering has started, and it is the 3rd time It is the third time, because first we have seen on January 6th, then on January 23rd, and now it is February 6th. Until now, the voting for the mayor and deputy mayor could not be started, because these on the screen, you are seeing these are BJP councillors. They are continuously asking the Aam Aadmi Party MLAs who are involved in the corruption case to go out from this house. They are not allowed to vote, and presiding officer herself has stated that against whom the corruption cases are going on, they are not allowed to vote today, and presiding officers continuously asking to maintain peace, but there's no impact and no effect on the councillors, and the councillors who are sitting silent, you can clearly see those are the Aam Aadmi Party MLAs, as Aam Aadmi Party today has come up with a strategy that they will remain silent so that no one could say that they were involved in disruption, and the disruption can only be seen from the BJP side. This is what Aam Aadmi Party's strategy is. Now BJP councillors are requesting by folded hands to the two Aam Aadmi Party MLAs to go out of the house, which presiding officer is also again and again stating that the voting could only be started after these two MLAs will go out of the house, and before that the voting couldn't be started, because today the voting for mayor, deputy mayor and the standing committee member, all three will be done together. And Nopur, it's very shocking to see that it's been more than 2 months until now Delhi has not got its mayor and deputy mayor, and it is all happening because of the ruckus which continuously could be seen inside the house, and where presiding officers is continuously requesting to maintain peace, but none of the councillors either of BJP or Aam Aadmi Party are understanding that how much important it is for the Delhi to get a mayor or Delhi mayor or deputy mayor for Delhi. And now we'll show you the more visuals as we will try to speak to more people outside Nupur also, because right now on this screen you can see that the ruckus has started, but on the other side the security has also been beefed up. We'll show you the visual at the CRPF and the Delhi police here to maintain so that the more ruckus of chaos couldn't start here outside the civic center. Of councillors and the supporters of councillors have started here, and therefore presiding officers again and again stating also this, that to maintain the peace and to start and again we are getting the breaking news Nupur, house adjourned.
सभी भूकंप पीड़ितों के साथ है। भारत भूकंप पीड़ितों की हर संभव मदद के लिए तत्पर है। साथियों, बेंगलुरु टेक्नोलॉजी टैलेंट और इनोवेशन की एनर्जी से भरपूर शहर है। मेरी तरह आप भी यहां की युवा ऊर्जा को अनुभव कर रहे होंगे। ये भारत की G20 प्रेसिडेंसी कैलेंडर का पहला बड़ा एनर्जी इवेंट है। मैं देश विदेश से आए सभी लोगों का इंडिया एनर्जी वीक में स्वागत करता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं। साथियों, 21वीं सदी के विश्व का भविष्य तय करने में एनर्जी सेक्टर की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है। एनर्जी के नए रिसोर्सेज को डेवलप करने में, एनर्जी ट्रांजिशन में आज भारत विश्व के सबसे मजबूत आवाजों में से एक है। विकसित बनने का संकल्प लेकर चल रहे भारत में एनर्जी सेक्टर के लिए अभूतपूर्व संभावनाएं बन रही है। आप जानते हैं कि हाल ही में IMF ने 2023 के लिए ग्रोथ प्रोजेक्शन रिलीज की है। इसमें कहा गया है कि भारत फास्टेस्ट ग्रोइंग मेजर इकोनॉमी रहने वाला है। महामारी और युद्ध के प्रभाव के बावजूद 2022 में भारत एक ग्लोबल ब्राइट स्पॉट रहा है। एक्सटर्नल सर्कमस्टेंसेस जो भी रहे, भारत ने इंटरनल रेजिलियंस की वजह से हर चुनौती को पार किया। इसके पीछे मल्टीपल फैक्टर्स ने काम किया। पहला, स्टेबल डिसिसिव गवर्नमेंट। दूसरा, सस्टेन रिफॉर्म्स। और तीसरा, ग्रासरूट पर सोशियो इकोनॉमिक एम्पावरमेंट। बीते वर्षों में बड़े पैमाने पर लोगों को बैंक खातों से जोड़ा गया, उन्हें फ्री हेल्थ केयर ट्रीटमेंट की सुविधा मिली, सेफ सैनिटेशन, बिजली कनेक्शन, आवास, नल से जल और दूसरे सोशल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की पहुंच करोड़ों लोगों तक हुई। पिछले कुछ वर्षों में भारत की जितनी बड़ी आबादी के जीवन में ये बदलाव आया है, वो कई विकसित देशों की जनसंख्या से भी ज्यादा है। इससे करोड़ों गरीबों को गरीबी से बाहर निकालने में मदद मिली है। आज करोड़ों लोग गरीबी से निकलकर मिडिल क्लास के स्तर तक पहुंच रहे हैं। आज भारत में करोड़ों लोगों की क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ में बदलाव आया है। आज गांव-गांव तक इंटरनेट पहुंचाने के लिए 6 लाख किलोमीटर, 600,000 किलोमीटर से ज्यादा ऑप्टिकल फाइबर बिछाए जा रहे हैं। पिछले 9 वर्षों में देश में ब्रॉडबैंड यूजर्स की संख्या 13 गुना बढ़ चुकी है। पिछले 9 वर्षों में इंटरनेट कनेक्शंस 3 गुना से ज्यादा हो चुके हैं। आज रूरल इंटरनेट यूजर्स की संख्या अर्बन यूजर्स की तुलना में ज्यादा तेजी से बढ़ रही है। इसके अलावा भारत दूसरा सबसे बड़ा मोबाइल फोन बनाने वाला देश बन चुका है। इससे भारत में दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा एस्पिरेशनल क्लास तैयार हुआ है। भारत के लोग चाहते हैं कि उन्हें बेटर प्रोडक्ट्स, बेटर सर्विसेज और बेटर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर मिले। भारत के लोगों की आकांक्षाओं को पूरा करने के लिए एनर्जी बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर है। इंडस्ट्रीज से लेकर के ऑफिसेज तक, फैक्ट्रीज से लेकर के घरों तक भारत में एनर्जी की जरूरत, एनर्जी की मांग बढ़ती ही जा रही है। भारत में जिस तेजी से विकास हो रहा है, उसे देखते हुए ये माना जा रहा है कि आने वाले वर्षों में भारत में अनेक नए शहर बनने वाले हैं। इंटरनेशनल एनर्जी एसोसिएशन ने भी कहा है कि भारत इस दशक में भारत की एनर्जी डिमांड दुनिया में सबसे ज्यादा होगी और यहीं पर आप सभी इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए, एनर्जी सेक्टर के स्टेक होल्डर्स के लिए भारत नई अपॉर्चुनिटीज लेकर के आया है। आज ग्लोबल ऑयल डिमांड में भारत की हिस्सेदारी 5% के आसपास है, लेकिन इसके 11% तक पहुंचने की उम्मीद है। भारत की गैस डिमांड तो 500% तक बढ़ने का अनुमान है। हमारा विस्तार ले रहा एनर्जी सेक्टर भारत में इन्वेस्टमेंट और कोलैबोरेशन के नए अवसर बना रहा है। फ्रेंड्स, एनर्जी सेक्टर को लेकर भारत की स्ट्रेटेजी के 4 मेजर वर्टिकल्स हैं। पहला, डोमेस्टिक एक्सप्लोरेशन और प्रोडक्शन को बढ़ाना। दूसरा, सप्लाईज को डाइवर्सिफिकेशन। तीसरा, बायोफ्यूल्स, इथेनॉल, कंप्रेस्ड बायोगैस और सोलार जैसे ऑल्टरनेटिव एनर्जी सोर्सेज का विस्तार। और चौथा, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल और हाइड्रोजन के जरिए डीकार्बनाइजेशन। इन चारों ही दिशाओं में भारत तेजी से काम कर रहा है। मैं आपके बीच इसके कुछ एस्पेक्ट पर और विस्तार से बात करना चाहूंगा। साथियों, आप जानते हैं कि भारत दुनिया में चौथी सबसे बड़ी रिफाइनिंग कैपेसिटी वाला देश है। भारत की वर्तमान क्षमता करीब 250 MMTPA की है, जिसे बढ़ाकर 450 MMTPA करने के लिए तेजी से काम हो रहा है। हम अपनी रिफाइनिंग इंडस्ट्री को लगातार इंडिजीनियस, मॉडर्नाइज और अपग्रेड कर रहे हैं। हम अपनी पेट्रोकेमिकल प्रोडक्शन कैपेसिटी को बढ़ाने की दिशा में भी बहुत तेजी से काम कर रहे हैं। भारत के रिच टेक्नोलॉजी पोटेंशियल और ग्रोइंग स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम का उपयोग करके आप सभी अपने एनर्जी लैंडस्केप का विस्तार कर सकते हैं। साथियों, हम 2030 तक अपने एनर्जी मिक्स में नेचुरल गैस कंजम्पशन को बढ़ाने के लिए भी मिशन मोड पर काम कर रहे हैं। इसे 6% से बढ़ाकर 15% करने का लक्ष्य तय किया गया है। हमारा वन नेशन वन ग्रिड ये विजन इसके लिए सभी जरूरी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर उपलब्ध कराएगा। हमारा प्रयास है कि एलएनजी टर्मिनल रीगैसिफिकेशन क्षमता को बढ़ाया जाए। 2014 में हमारी क्षमता 21 MMTPA की थी, जो 2022 में करीब दोगुनी हो गई है। इसे और बढ़ाने के लिए काम जारी है। भारत में 2014 के मुकाबले सीजीडी की संख्या भी 9% हो चुकी है और 9 गुना बढ़ चुकी है। 9 गुना, 9 टाइम। हमारे यहां 2014 में सीएनजी स्टेशन भी 900 के आसपास थे। अब इनकी संख्या भी बढ़कर 5000 तक पहुंच रही है। हम गैस पाइपलाइन नेटवर्क की लंबाई बढ़ाने की दिशा में भी तेजी से काम कर रहे हैं। 2014 में हमारे देश में गैस पाइपलाइन की लंबाई करीब 14,000 किलोमीटर थी। अब ये बढ़कर 22,000 किलोमीटर से ज्यादा हो चुकी है। अगले 4-5 साल में भारत में गैस पाइपलाइन का नेटवर्क 35,000 किलोमीटर तक पहुंच जाएगा। यानी भारत के नेचुरल गैस इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में आपके लिए निवेश की बहुत बड़ी संभावनाएं बन रही है। साथियों, आज भारत का जोर डोमेस्टिक एक्सप्लोरेशन और प्रोडक्शन को बढ़ावा देने पर है। ईएनपी सेक्टर ने उन इलाकों में भी अपना इंटरेस्ट दिखाया है जो इनएक्सेसिबल समझे जाते थे। आपकी इन भावनाओं को समझते हुए हमने नो गो एरियाज में कमी की है। इससे 10 लाख स्क्वायर किलोमीटर एरिया नो गो की पाबंदियों से मुक्त हुआ है। अगर हम आंकड़े पर नजर डालें तो नो गो एरियाज में भी ये कमी 98% से भी ज्यादा है। ये सभी निवेशकों से आग्रह करूंगा कि आप इन अवसरों को इस्तेमाल करिए। फोसिल फ्यूल्स के एक्सप्लोरेशन में अपनी मौजूदगी बढ़ाइए। फ्रेंड्स, बायो एनर्जी के क्षेत्र में भी हम तेजी से आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। पिछले साल अगस्त में हमने एशिया की पहली 2G इथेनॉल बायो रिफाइनरी की स्थापना की। हमारी तैयारी इस तरह के 12 कॉमर्शियल 2G इथेनॉल प्लांट्स बनाने की है। सस्टेनेबल एविएशन फ्यूल और रिन्यूएबल डीजल की कॉमर्शियल उपयोगिता की दिशा में भी हमारे प्रयास जारी है। इस साल के बजट में हमने गोवर्धन योजना के तहत 500 नए वेस्ट टू वेल्थ प्लांट बनाने का ऐलान किया है। इसमें 200 कॉम्प्रेस्ड बायोगैस प्लांट्स और 300 कम्युनिटी या क्लस्टर बेस्ड प्लांट्स शामिल है। इसमें भी आप सभी के लिए हजारों करोड़ रुपए के इन्वेस्टमेंट के रास्ते बनने वाले हैं। साथियों, एक और सेक्टर जिसमें भारत विश्व में लीड ले रहा है वो है ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन का। नेशनल ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन मिशन 21वीं सदी के भारत को नई दिशा देगा। इस दशक के अंत तक हम 5 MMTPA ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन के प्रोडक्शन का लक्ष्य लेकर चल रहे हैं। इसमें भी 8 लाख करोड़ रुपए से अधिक के इन्वेस्टमेंट की संभावनाएं हैं। भारत अगले 5 वर्षों में ग्रे हाइड्रोजन को रिप्लेस करते हुए ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन का हिस्सा 25% तक बढ़ाएगा। ये भी आपके लिए बहुत बड़ा अवसर होगा। फ्रेंड्स, एक और महत्वपूर्ण विषय ईवीएस की बैटरी कॉस्ट का भी है। आज इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल में बैटरी की कॉस्ट 40 से 50% तक होती है। इसलिए इस दिशा में हमने 50 गीगावाट आवर्स की एडवांस केमिस्ट्री सेल बनाने के लिए 18,000 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा की पीएलआई स्कीम शुरू की है। देश में बैटरी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैसिलिटीज स्थापित करने के लिए एक अच्छा अवसर है। फ्रेंड्स, भारत में बन रही निवेश की इन संभावनाओं को हमने 1 सप्ताह पहले आए बजट में और मजबूत किया है। बजट में रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी, एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी, सस्टेनेबल ट्रांसपोर्टेशन और ग्रीन टेक्नोलॉजीज को और एनकरेज किया गया है। इसमें 35,000 करोड़ रुपए प्रायोरिटी कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए रखे गए हैं ताकि एनर्जी ट्रांजिशन और नेट जीरो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स को बल मिले। बजट में हमने कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर के लिए 10 लाख करोड़ रुपए का भी प्रावधान किया है। इससे भी ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन से लेकर सोलार और रोड जैसे हर तरह के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को गति मिलेगी। साथियों, 2014 के बाद से ग्रीन एनर्जी को लेकर भारत का कमिटमेंट और भारत के प्रयास पूरी दुनिया को देख रहे हैं। बीते 9 वर्षों में भारत में रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी कैपेसिटी करीब 70 गीगावाट से बढ़कर करीब 170 गीगावाट हो चुकी है। इसमें भी सोलर पावर कैपेसिटी 20 टाइम्स से ज्यादा बढ़ी है। आज भारत विंड पावर कैपेसिटी के मामले में दुनिया में चौथे नंबर पर है। हम इस दशक के अंत तक 50% नॉन फोसिल फ्यूल कैपेसिटी का लक्ष्य लेकर चल रहे हैं। हम बायोफ्यूल पर, इथेनॉल ब्लेंडिंग पर बहुत तेजी से काम कर रहे हैं। बीते 9 वर्षों में पेट्रोल में इथेनॉल ब्लेंडिंग को हम 1.5% से बढ़ाकर 10% कर चुके हैं। अब हम 20% इथेनॉल ब्लेंडिंग के लक्ष्य की तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं। आज यहां E20 रोल आउट किया जा रहा है। पहले फेज में देश के 15 शहरों को कवर किया जाएगा और फिर आने वाले 2 वर्षों में देश भर में इसका विस्तार किया जाएगा। यानी E20 भी आपके लिए देश भर में बहुत बड़ा मार्केट बनने जा रहा है। साथियों, आज भारत में एनर्जी ट्रांजिशन को लेकर जो मास मूवमेंट चल रहा है वो अध्ययन का विषय है। ये 2 तरीके से हो रहा है। पहला, एनर्जी के रिन्यूएबल सोर्स का तेज गति से एडॉप्शन कर, और दूसरा, एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन के प्रभावी तरीकों का एडॉप्शन। भारत के नागरिक आज बड़ी तेजी से एनर्जी के रिन्यूएबल सोर्सेज को अपना रहे हैं। सोलर पावर से चलने वाले घर, सोलर पावर से चलने वाले गांव, सोलर पावर से चलने वाले एयरपोर्ट, सोलर पंप से हो रही खेती, ऐसे अनेक उदाहरण हैं। बीते 9 वर्षों में भारत ने अपने 19 करोड़ से ज्यादा परिवारों को क्लीन कुकिंग फ्यूल से जोड़ा है। आज जो सोलर कुकटॉप लॉन्च किया गया है वो भारत में ग्रीन और क्लीन कुकिंग को नया आयाम देने जा रहा है। उम्मीद है कि अगले 2-3 साल में ही 3 करोड़ से अधिक घरों में सोलर कुकटॉप की पहुंच बन जाएगी। इससे एक तरह से भारत किचन में क्रांति लाने का काम करेगा। भारत में 25 करोड़ से अधिक परिवार हैं। आप कल्पना कर सकते हैं कि सिर्फ सोलर कुकटॉप से जुड़े निवेश में आपके लिए कितनी संभावनाएं बन रही है। साथियों, भारत के नागरिक एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन के प्रभावी तरीकों की तरफ तेजी से शिफ्ट हो रहे हैं। अब ज्यादातर घरों में स्ट्रीट लाइट्स में एलईडी बल्ब का इस्तेमाल होता है। भारत के घरों में स्मार्ट मीटर लगाए जा रहे हैं। लार्ज स्केल पर सीएनजी और एलएनजी को अपनाया जा रहा है। इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स की बढ़ती लोकप्रियता इस दिशा में बड़े बदलाव के संकेत दे रहे हैं। साथियों, ग्रीन ग्रोथ की तरफ, एनर्जी ट्रांजिशन की तरफ भारत के बड़े प्रयास हमारी वैल्यूज को भी रिफ्लेक्ट करते हैं। सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी एक तरह से हर भारतीय की जीवन शैली का हिस्सा है। रिड्यूस, रीयूज और रिसाइकल का मंत्र हमारे संस्कारों में रहा है। आज इसका ही एक उदाहरण हमें यहां भी देखने को मिला है। प्लास्टिक की वेस्ट बॉटल्स को रिसाइकल करके जो यूनिफॉर्म बनाई गई है, आपने उसे देखा है। फैशन की दुनिया के लिए, सुंदरता की दुनिया के लिए उसमें कोई कमी नहीं है। हर साल 10 करोड़ ऐसी बॉटल्स की रिसाइकलिंग का लक्ष्य पर्यावरण की रक्षा में बहुत मदद करेगा। ये मिशन लाइफ यानी लाइफस्टाइल फॉर एनवायरनमेंट को भी मजबूती देगा, जिसकी दुनिया को आज बहुत आवश्यकता है। इन्हीं संस्कारों पर चलते हुए भारत ने 2070 तक नेट जीरो का टारगेट तय किया है। इंटरनेशनल सोलर अलायंस जैसे प्रयासों से भारत इस सद्भावना को दुनिया में मजबूत करना चाहता है। साथियों, मैं आपका फिर आह्वान करूंगा कि भारत के एनर्जी सेक्टर से जुड़ी हर संभावनाओं को जरूर एक्सप्लोर करें, उससे जुड़े। आज भारत आपके इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए दुनिया में